A population of 15,175 was spread over the 50 square kilometer Cuyo Island, which is defined by a rocky terrain with numerous hills. Three of these hills are the Aguado in Igabas, Kayamamis in Lokboan, and Bonbon in Rizal. In 2010, the total population of Cuyo Island was 21,847. That of the whole Cuyo archipelago, 46,000. The Cuyonon language is accentuated by the pepet sound, the stress combined with the terminal glottal stop, and contains monosyllabic word forms like kot, tachamting, sot, go into, put, suffocate, bell, get, book, hair, and bag, loincloth. There is neither a Cuyonon grammar nor dictionary, although a few prayer books have been written in the language. Cuyonons originated genetically and linguistically from Panay Island in the central Philippines since 1250 AD, but they have Malayan roots from the Banjar Masid and Borneo Island 1,000 years ago. During the Spanish colonization in the Philippines, Cuyo was one of the territories of Palawan that had the strongest Spanish presence because they were among the first Filipinos to be colonized by the Spaniards. In 1571, the Spanish conquistador Miguel Lopez de Legazpi arrived in Cuyo and established a Spanish settlement. So dahil kinolonize tayo ng Spanish, nagkaroon ng profound and lasting impact ang kanilang culture and society and kanilang way of life sa atin. Kasama na dito ang introduction of Christianity. One of the most significant impacts of Spanish colonization was the introduction of Christianity. Spanish missionaries, primarily Franciscans, began converting the Cuyonon people to Catholicism. This resulted in the establishment of Catholic churches and the integration of Christian religious practices into Cuyonon life. So, umaba din ang kanilang beliefs and practices. Dahil sa conversion to Christianity, nagled ito sa abandonment ng traditional animistic beliefs and practices sa Cuyonon people. Na-adapt nila ang Christian religious rituals and practices na nag-continue na maging central part ng Cuyonon culture hanggang ngayon. Kasama na dito ang language and education. Dahil sa pag-introduce sa atin ng mga Espanyol ng kanilang lingwahe, na-impluensyahan din ang Cuyonon language. Maraming Cuyonon ang nagsimulang magsalita ng Espanyol and nagamit ang Espanyol sa edukasyon. At ito ay nagkaroon ng mahabang impact sa Cuyonon language and culture. So, Cuyonons are an ethnic group native to the Cuyo Islands, which are part of the province of Palawan and the Philippines. Their history is closely tied to the history of the islands they inhabit. So, ito po ang brief overview ng history ng Cuyonons during the pre-colonial period. Bago dumating ang mga Espanyol sa Pilipinas, ang Cuyo Island ay inhabited by the Cuyonon people. May sarili po sila distinct culture, language, and way of life. Ang Cuyonon language, also known as Cuyonon, is a Visayan language with influences from neighboring cultures. Dumating sa Pilipinas kasama na sa Cuyo ang mga Spanish colonizers noong 16th century. Dahil sa impluwensya ng mga Espanyol, nagled ito sa malaking changes sa culture and way of life ng mga Cuyonons. Na-introduce sila sa Christianity and Spanish customs and traditions na naging part na ng kanilang daily lives. So, after the Spanish-American War and the subsequent American colonization of the Philippines, ang Cuyo Islands, katulad ng ibang bansa ay naging under sa American rule. This period introduced new changes sa Cuyonon culture and society. Noong World War II naman, ang Cuyo Islands ay inoccupied ng Japanese forces. Itong period na ito ay nagbigay na naman ng malaking challenges and hardships sa mga Cuyonon people as it did for many Filipinos. After World War II and maging independent ang Pilipinas noong 1946, ang mga Cuyonon, katulad ng mga ibang Pilipino, continued to adapt to changing political and cultural landscapes. They also played a role in the nation's efforts to rebuild and develop. So ngayon, ang mga Cuyonon ay pinagpapatuloy ang kanilang pag-preserve ng kanilang unique culture and language kahit na may impluensya ng modernization and globalization. Kilala sila sa kanilang fishing and farming traditions, and ang kanilang communities are centered around the Cuyo Islands. Ang tourism ay isa ding naging importanteng part ng kanilang local economy dahil sa mga bisita na attract sa natural beauty ng kanilang isla. So sabi dito, ang Cuyonons ay considered as the elite class among the hierarchy of the natives who live in Palawan. So magbibigay tayo ng mga factors na magsusupport ng statement na to. So, unang factor ay ang historical factor. The Cuyonon people were among the first in Palawan to be exposed to Spanish colonial influence. This exposure to Spanish culture and language could have led to the perception of the Cuyonons as more civilized or privileged in the eyes of the colonizers. So, next ang economic factors. The Cuyo Islands, where the Cuyonons predominantly reside, have historically been economically active due to their proximity to the sea and the abundant marine resources. Fishing and trading could have contributed to a relatively higher standard of living compared to some other indigenous groups in Palawan. So next, urbanization. The Cuyo town around Cuyo Island is one of the more developed and urbanized areas in the province of Palawan. Urban centers tend to attract economic activity and educational institutions, which can contribute to the perception of an elite class. So last, ang representation. Historically, Cuyonons may have been more represented in local government and administrative positions, which can contribute to the perception of them being part of the elite class. So, it's important to note that these factors can be complex and intertwined. The perception of Cuyonons as an elite class is a historical and cultural perspective that has evolved over time. However, the concept of an elite class within indigenous communities is subjective and should be considered in the context of the specific region, period, and social dynamics in question. Different indigenous groups and communities in Palawan have their own unique histories and roles in the region.
I would like to share a Cuyonon song which I believe is reflective of the topic assigned to me. I will first explain the translation of the Cuyo March before I play the song. In the first stanza, it says that there is one island in the province of Palawan named Cuyo, and the locals are honored to have it known by everybody, especially those who are part of this locality. This island has been and is loved by everyone. It is the first island in Palawan which was influenced by the Spaniards, which has its fort with church inside, and it has been the capital of Palawan. The last stanza reflects the promise of its constituents that they will never forget Cuyo. Rather, it will be loved by its youth. It will always be in their minds and hearts, and that they will continually pray for God's blessings and graces for the Cuyo community. As we play the video, we can see different clips, and each of them can be found on Cuyo, or it talks about Cuyo. Number 1 is the Blue Waters. The beautiful scenery, the Bisukay Island to be exact, reflects the beauty of nature in Cuyo. Next is the Fort of Cuyo. The marker shows how old the fort was. It was built about 1680 by the Recollect Augustinians according to the plans and under the supervision of Reverend Juan de San Severo, Augustinian Recollect. The fort, made of stone and mortar, was square in form with 4 bastions. This is where the opening activities of the celebration of the 400 years of Christianity in Palawan was held. The image of Saint Augustine, the patron saint of the parish in Cuyo. The church is inside the fort. The convent, also inside the fort, is where the priest resides, and there is a rooftop where anyone can go and see the scenic beauty of the island.
Magandang araw po sa ating lahat. Ako nga po pala si Kenneth R.J. D. Carrera, ang nag-iisang taga-Puerto sa grupong ito. Ngayon, ako ay magtuturo kung saan nga ba natin matatagpuan ang Cuyonon people sa Palawan. Handa na ba kayo? Unang-una sa ating listahan, ang Cuyo Island. Ito ang pinakamalaki at pinakasikat na isla sa Cuyo Archipelago. Ito ay matatagpuan sa Sulusi, sa pagitan ng Palawan at Panay Island. Ang isla ay puno ng magagandang tanawin at iba't ibang uri ng flora and fauna. Ang bayan ng Cuyo kung saan ito ang cultural center ng Cuyo Archipelago ay matatagpuan rin sa Cuyo Island. Ang Cuyo Island ay isa lamang sa mga napakaraming lugar sa Cuyo Archipelago kung saan matatagpuan ang mga Cuyonon. Ang mga sumusunod na lugar ay ilan lamang sa barangay sa Cuyo Archipelago na kinababahayan at tinitirahan ng mga Cuyonon. Narito ang poblasyon, ang main at sentral na barangay sa Cuyo Town. Ang Agutaya na isa ring parti ng Cuyo Archipelago. Narito rin ang Kapunayan, Makutunaw, Takbubok, Tabunan, Manamok, Tenga-Tenga, Lukbuan na isang barangay sa Cuyo Island na isa ring parti ng municipality ng Magsaysay. Nasa inyong harapan ang isang municipal level linguistic map of Palawan according to the 2000 Census of Population and Housing na pinublish ng National Statistics Office na kilala ngayon bilang Philippines Statistics Authority. Makikita natin sa imaheng ito na ang mga nagsasalita ng Cuyonon ay makikita lamang natin sa upper na part ng Palawan at ilan sa mga isla. Ngunit dapat nating isipin na ang datos na ito ay nanggaling pa sa taong 2000. Sa pagpasok ng mga bagong teknolohiya, pag-usad ng panahon, ay umusad din ang pagkakaroon ng maraming oportunidad para sa ating mga kababayang Cuyonon. Sila ay nakipagsipalaran, sila ay naghanap ng trabaho upang ma-improve ang kanilang mga buhay. Kaya ngayon, ang ating mga kapwa Cuyonon ay matatagpuan na sa iba't ibang parte ng Palawan at hindi lamang sa Palawan ngunit sa buong mundo. Ayon sa isang datos noong 2015, meron ng 240,000 na Cuyonon. Sila ay nakakalat sa buong mundo, hindi lamang sa Palawan. Ngunit 85% sa kanila ay nakatira pa rin sa probinsya ng Palawan. Dito na nagtatapos ang aking report. Muli, ako nga po pala si Kenneth RJ Carrera, ang nag-iisang taga-Puerto sa grupong ito. Ngayon, tayo ay dumako na sa pamumuhay ng mga Cuyonon.
Okay, so now we're going on the mode of subsistence of Cuyonon. So the first one that we have is the agriculture. So this is the island's main occupation. So the Cuyonon system of planting upland rice and other produce employ long fallow and short fallow methods. To augment within agriculture, the Cuyonon practice agroforestry by planting edible trees such as coconut, banana, mango, cashew, jackfruit, avocado, coffee, tamarind, soursop, pomegranate, papaya, jackfruit, and citrus. So like what we read in this slide, we have the long fallow and short fallow methods. That means merong mga crops na tinatanim for long term and meron din mga crops na tinatanim for the short term. So like let's say umaabot ng 6 months and above or like 1 year and above yung long term natin. And sa short term naman, maybe it's 3 months or 4 months is pwede nang ma-harvest yung isang crop. So most likely talaga yung main na crop dito sa ating dito sa Palawan, sa ating mga kabayan is yung rice. Yung rice, okay? Kasi ito talaga yung madaling itanim. I mean, mas siya kumaga mas kailangan natin. Rice is basic need natin siya kasi due to our culture, we love rice. We eat hindi kompleto ang meal natin if walang rice. So it's like nasanay tayo na may rice. So that's why vast yung pagtanim ng rice dito sa Palawan kasi it's one of our basic needs. It's part of our culture na may rice tayo and hindi yan mawawala. So, yun na nga. Aside from that, we have also the trees such as the coconut, banana, mango, cashew, jackfruit. So, most likely dito is yung pinaka-common is yung cashew. So, everywhere dito sa Palawan is makita yung cashew kasi tayo talaga yung halos maraming source na to. Marami tayong tanim na cashew. So, ang ginagawa natin dyan, in-export natin niya sa ibang lugar. And then, nakilala tayo dahil doon. And it's a good thing. So, aside from that, we have the fishing. So, fishing is a secondary occupation naman. So, this renders enough marine foods to be marketed in Manila. So, yung mga fish natin dito sa Palawan is in-export or dinideliver siya sa Manila. So, makikita natin na it's very we are rich in our biodiversity. We are rich in our environment, in our yamang dagat. We are very rich from that. Kasi, like, even other places dito sa ating country is sa atin kumukuha ng source or sa atin kumukuha ng mga fish. So, we should be proud of that kasi we also help our fishermen na kumita sila ng maayos and they can provide for their family. Ito naman is offshore. Fishing require nets, traps, and hooks and lines. Various onshore techniques are employed to gather crab, shrimp, octopus, shell, sea urchin, sea cucumber, seaweed, and jellyfish. So, nire-require ng ating lugar na use only nets, traps, and hooks. Wag yung mga granada kasi if we're gonna use granada or grenade para makakuha tayo ng maraming fish is masisira yung ating sea, masisira yung ating ocean. So, isa rin yun sa pinaingatan natin dito sa Palawan is ingatan ang ating sea kasi ito lang yung kumbaga bubuhay sa atin. Ito yung parang identity natin, kumbaga part ng ating culture din na part ng ating kakakilanlan na mayaman tayo sa yamang dagat. So we should be aware of this kind of issues. So dapat kailangan natin na gawa ng aksyon kapag may mga ganitong problema. So also nire-require nila na magkaroon ng mga malaking holes sa fishnet nila para yung makuha na fish is malalaki lang, hindi yung mga small fish kasi kapag nakuha yung mga small fish, may tendency na maubos yung mga fish sa dagat. So hindi natin pababayaan na mangyari yun. And okay, so sa onshore techniques naman, so as we can see, may mga Cuyonon na nanguha ng clams, binibenta nila, so they get profit from that. So such as mga nagbibenta ng crabs, mga shrimps, octopus, shells, like what I said, mga clams or seashells, sea urchin, one of our favorite is sea urchin, sea cucumber, seaweed, and jellyfish. So jellyfish is harmful, but I don't know why some of our kababayan is selling this. And then 50% of the 200 million fish catch from the province every year. So, okay, like hindi naman ganun ka pero yun na nga. We still have 50% yung nakakatch natin na mga sea creatures sa ocean. And the next thing that we have here na another mode of subsistence is yung seaweed farming. So, bakit nga ba is yung kasi ang seaweed farming is very common din dito sa ating mga kababayan. Like, they really sell, ito yung mga kinabubuhay nila na kanilang ginagawang business na rin. So, itong seaweed or let's say lato, another term lato, is makakita sa northern part ng Palawan. Pero, hindi lang naman sa northern, marami din places dito. But, most likely talaga is marami kang makakita nagbebenta niyan dito ng seaweed. So, Manamok is one of these small islands inhabited by a small population and with few economic activities that are mostly conventional. The major source of livelihood is seaweed farming and fishing. Fishing has been a major livelihood on the island since time immemorial. So, Manamok Island is an island that maraming source ng mga lato. So, like, mga Cuyonons are going there para manguha and then they sell it. Magkakitaan nila yung lato. And, ayun. So, that's why it's considered as mode of subsistence. And then seaweed farming, on the other hand, was introduced on Manamok Island around the 1980s. So it's been decades na talaga. So a personal communication with a local elder. So as an alternative livelihood for fishing. So aside daw sa fishing, seaweed farming yung ginagawa ng ating mga kababayang Cuyonon to magkaroon ng kita or to get benefit from it, to get money or ayun, so to get a nice livelihood para may ma-provide sila sa kanilang family. And yun na nga, it's very it's very unique to think of kasi because we have the healthiest environment and then we also have the we also get the healthy sea creatures, or like let's say sea plants, and we are rich in that. We should be proud of that. Kasi not all places in the country is merong kind of this merong gantong kinabubuhay. So we are unique because of that. So ayun lang.
Imagine sailing in a lush tropical paradise where the air is filled with the sound of birdsong and the sea breeze rustles through the palm trees. This is what the Spanish explorers found when they arrived in Calamianes Island in the 16th century. The Calamianes were a thriving commercial hub with traders from all over the world coming to buy and sell pearls, oyster shells, sea turtle shells, deer skin, and carabao horns. Cuyo, one of the islands in the group, was dubbed the Garden of Nature by a Spanish chronicler. Its residents lived in relative luxury, surrounded by abundant food and natural resources. The Calamianes Islands were a valuable asset to the Spanish Empire, and their commercial industry played a significant role in the development of the region. Before the Spaniards came or arrived in the Philippines, traders from Borneo, Siam, and Cambodia would come to the Calamianes Islands to buy bruskes or little seashells, also known as sigay. Sigay were highly prized in these regions, and they were used to buy and sell all sorts of goods. The Calamianes Islands were a major source of sigay, and the trade in these shells played an important role in the region's economy. The people of the Calamianes Islands were able to use the sigay they earned from trade to improve their lives and build their communities. The use of sigay as currency is a reminder of the rich history and culture of the Philippines. It is also a reminder of the importance of trade and economic exchange in the development of human societies. The island of Busuanga, then known as Calamian the Great, was a place of abundance and natural beauty. Boiling rivers teemed with fish, and woodlands were rich with high-quality beeswax. The wax was collected by simply burning the bees out of their honeycombs. Deer, wild boar, monkeys, and birds roamed freely through the forest. The surrounding waters were also a source of wealth. Balate or balatan, also known as trebang or sea cucumber, was a valuable commodity that Chinese traders were willing to pay a premium price for. Trebang is a type of sea cucumber that is dried and processed, and it is used in Chinese cuisine and traditional medicine. The abundance of natural resources on Busuanga made it a thriving center of trade and commerce in the pre-colonial Philippines. The island's inhabitants were able to use the resources at their disposal to build a prosperous community. Imagine a bird's nest that is so valuable that people would risk their lives to collect it. This is the Salangana nest, made by the Balinsasayaw bird in the crevices of Coron's rugged cliffs. Salangana nests are highly prized in China for their culinary and medicinal properties. They are made of the bird's saliva, and they are said to be exceptionally tasty and nourishing when cooked in soup. was a dangerous job as the cliffs were high and the nests were often located in difficult to reach places. But the rewards were great as Salanggana nests were very valuable. The high price of Salanggana nests was due to a number of factors. First, the nests were difficult and dangerous to collect. Second, they were only available seasonally. And third, they were in high demand in China. Salanggana nests were an important source of income for the people of Cuyo and Busuanga. They also played an important role in the region's trade network. Imagine hanging from a rope suspended high above a rocky cliff. Below you, the waves crash against the shore. In your hand, you carry a basket. Your mission: to collect the precious Salanggana nest. This was the daily reality of the Cuyonon nest harvesters in the 17th century. They would risk their lives to collect the nest of the balinsasayaw bird, which are highly prized in China for their culinary and medicinal properties. The harvesters would either slither down a rope from the hilltop or ascend up from below by stepping on the nodes of a bamboo trunk. It was a dangerous and grueling job, but the rewards were great. The harvesters would collect the nest 3 times between December and March, with month-long gaps in between, while the birds built fresh nests. This was to ensure that the birds were not disturbed too much and the population was not depleted. Due to limited land, markets, and investment opportunities, Cuyo's marginal share in the pre-war market economy accounted for the relative lack of socio-economic differentiation and a typically egalitarian outlook. In other words, the people of Cuyo were relatively equal economically and socially. This was because there was not much land, markets, or investment opportunities on the island. People made small earnings from carpentry, basketry, mat weaving, and coconut wine gathering. Copra, a dried coconut product, was only profitable for a few large farms. However, native out-migration, primarily of middle-class families, has dramatically altered Cuyo's socio-economic trends. Middle-class families are leaving Cuyo in search of better economic opportunities elsewhere. This is leading to a more unequal society with a smaller middle class and a large gap between the rich and the poor.
So now, we will tackle the cultural practices of Cuyonon group, including first their customs. Since now and then, social contact is close and frequent in Cuyo Island. The Cuyonon work in groups when farming, fishing, and even when accomplishing small chores like cleaning house. However, as livelihood activities demand less time than effort, leisure as a main occupation, particularly during the post-harvest months from October to December. The folk habitually visit with their neighbors, and the men often have casual drink sessions after work. Pase, the rice wine, and tuba, since ancient times been imbibed by the Cuyonon as part of ritual feast. So dito, sinasabi nga na the Cuyonon works in groups when farming, fishing, and cleaning house. So ito, as a Cuyonon, na-observe ko pa din to, lalo na sa farming at saka fishing. So, in farming, simula pagkakaingin, pagtatanim ng binhi or ng palay, hanggang sa pag-aani, they are working in group. So, nangyayari ito like sa pagkakaingin. So, sa pagkakaingin, syempre, lilinisin mo yung lugar kung saan ka magtatanim, then susunugin mo yung mga kalat mo doon. So, sa pagsusunog ng mga kalat, nag-serve ito as a fertilizer din ng mga palay hanggang sa makapamunga. So, they are inviting other persons or even kapitbahay nila na tumulong sa kanila na magkaingin, magtanim, at saka mag-ani. So, some farmers, they are invited their other farmers to help with them, so that what will happen is that they will help each other, vice versa. So, the one farm, you invited the other farmer to help you, so you will help them also in their work in farm. So that's what Cuyonon work in group during farming. In fishing, always na makikita na sa iisang bangka there are 2 to 4 fishermen. So they are helping each others to catch fish, and then kapag pauwi na sila, they will divide their divide ng mga isda equally kung ilan sila. Then choice nila ito kung ibebenta nila or pang-ulam nila sa bahay nila, but it shows that Cuyonon works in group. And then sa cleaning house, ito may bihira ko na lang makita. So kasi most of the Cuyonon have their katulong, but before it is very common na cleaning house work in group. Pero ngayon, kukunti na lang because of, yun nga, may mga katulong na yung iba. And then, folk habitually visit with their neighbors, and the men often have casual transition after work. So, ito, nung elementary pa ako, nangyari to mismo sa bahay. Kapitbahay namin, always na pumupunta sa bahay, alas 5, alas 5:30. Ayan, may kipagkwentuhan, mag-aaya ng inuman, pero they are just drinking tuba. Tuba is ito yung ginagawang suka, pero yung suka kasi fermented na. Ito yung tuba is matamis pa siya. So, if ferment siya, itatago siya for how many months, saka siya magiging suka. And then, in drinking, and then they visit their neighbors after work. So, nakaugalian na to ng mga Cuyonon, which is sa pamamagitan ng work in group in farming, fishing, cleaning house, and also visiting their neighbors after work, drinking or imbibe each other. It shows that social contact is close and frequent in Cuyo Island, which is meron pa naman ako na-observe na very yung close contact is nakikita pa talaga, which is kumbaga ba buhay pa yung mga gantong gawain sa mga Cuyonon ngayon. There are more formal organized socials like dances where friendships and courtships are pursued, as well as baptisms, birthdays, and weddings. Church going is central to tradition life, and the Lenten rituals became primary social events. During the yearly fiesta, village fiesta, the comedia is performed for the more affluent in their private residences and for the public in the plaza. Its production expenses are defrayed by minimal admission fees, which may earn a little profit for drinks. Morning mass, cockfights, and games complete the celebrations. Although the fiesta are well attended, the meals prepared are comparatively simple. Cuyonon socials are generally more time consuming than expensive, but are considered obligation that promotes self-esteem and group harmony. So, dito, every fiesta, minsan nagkakaroon ng disco sa bayan. Um, Isa sa mga hindi ko makalimutan na sinabi ng lola ko, makakapunta lang sila ng disco kapag nakagawa sila ng mga gawaing bahay. So, yung ginagawa nila for the whole day, bago mapunta sa disco, they will do all the household chores na kaya nilang gawin para lang payagan sila makapunta sa disco. And also, yung dances, hindi lang ginagawa sa disco, sa courtships or sa panliligaw or pamamanhikan, baptisms, birthdays, and weddings. So, ito yung church going. Yung church going, ito yung pinaka-sentro ng pamumuhay ng mga Cuyonon. Very common sa mga Cuyonon na magsimba tuwing fiesta. Pero hindi lang tuwing fiesta, but every Sunday makikita yung simbahan na puno. Pero pag ito yung church going na pag fiesta, sobrang puno ng simbahan sa loob at sa labas, maraming tao. Matanda man yan, bata, or basta wala naman sa edad yung pagsisimba, pero talagang puno talaga yung simbahan, which shows that Cuyonon still celebrating their village fiesta together. Ito naman ang komedya. So, yung komedya, ito isang beses lang ako nakapagnood nito when I was elementary. So, ito ay pinakita nila sa plaza, sa bayan, yung komedya. So, may bayad talaga to. So, yun nga, sinabi din dito na yung bayad, production expenses are defrayed by minimal admission fees, which may earn a little profit for drinks. Yun nga. So, sa mismong araw ng fiesta, morning mass, cockfights, and games, yan yung mga makikita mo doon sa bayan, sa labas ng simbahan. After mass. So, morning mass. Yung morning mass, meron na ngayon. Noon, isang mass lang ata. Ngayon, meron ng first mass, second mass, third mass for the village fiesta. So, and then ito yung cockfights. Ito yung sabong. Kung sa Cuyonon, tawag namin is bulang. So, ito noon, during the araw ng fiesta, pero ngayon tuwing may fiesta 10 days before the fiesta, meron mga cockfights yan. And then yung games, yung liga, or di ko sure, pero ngayon kung may liga noon, pero ngayon yung liga, very familiar sa akin. Yung mga games na yan, basketball, volleyball, sipak takraw, yan yung mga very familiar sa akin ngayon. But before, tingin ko na kung ano yung mga tinutukoy dyan na games na during village fiesta, siguro ito yung mga palarong Pinoy, like yung paghuhuli ng baboy, yung baboy na madulas. Then, yung next na laro is yung may premyo sa taas ng kawayan. So, pagtutulungan ng mga bata na makuha yung premyo nila doon sa taas ng kawayan. Hindi ko alam kasi kung ano yung tawag doon. But, di ko sure kung ano yung tinutukoy na games dito. Pero kung games noon, mga larong Pinoy na laging ginagawa noon, ngayon may larong Pinoy naman pero hindi na commonly ginagawa tuwing Village Fiesta. Most commonly na ginagawa nila is yung liga. And then, in terms of foods, during Village Fiesta, maliban sa handaan sa bayan, sa plaza, kasi meron na yung handaan sa plaza, yung mga kanya-kanyang bahay na sa bayan, they are also preparing foods for their visitors from the other barangays para mayroong makain doon sa bahay nila kapag pumunta after the mass. So, it shows also that yung pakikipag-socialize ng mga Cuyonon is buhay na buhay pa din simula noon hanggang ngayon. So, in terms of their beliefs and practices, in 1621, the missionaries of Cuyo observed that the people's indigenous belief system continued to influence their lives. They believe in Laon, meaning time, who was the first cause. They offered ritual prayers and meals to a god of agriculture to ensure a bountiful harvest, and to a god of war to ensure protection. A similar ritual was the sagda, during which hungry spirits said to have inhabited the body of the sick were appeased with a meal of pork, wine, bananas, and other foods. In such attempts to restore health, the priest banished all images and portraits from the house of the sick. So, dito, yung sagda, isang beses lang ako naka-encounter nito using yung isang buhay na manok, kulay puti na buhay na manok. Sa bahay ito mismo ginawa. Sa center ng bahay, doon kinatay ng manggagamot yung manok. Then, yung dugo, doon iniwan lang sa taas, sa gitna ng bahay, sa second floor. Iniwan lang doon yung dugo sa sahig hanggang sa matuyo. And then, yung dugo na yun, nilagyan din doon ng rice, ng coins. So, ito yung sa sagda. Yun lang yung alam ko about sagda. Ito yung commonly na ginagawa kapag may nangyayari sa isang tao, like nagkasakit bigla nang hindi alam kung anong dahilan, or basta mga pangit na pangitain sa pamamahay. And then yun yung tumutulong. Hindi ko alam kung gaano ka-epektibo ito, pero as ako yun nun, my family is Cuyonon. So, they are doing this kind of practice. Paniniwala, nagagaling yung isang tao. Hindi ko din sure talaga kung gaano ka-epektibo ito, but we're just doing this because nakasanayan na, naging practices na ng mga Cuyonon yung gawaing ito yung tinatawag na sagda. Many Cuyonon have Sweden farms in the mainland of Palawan. After harvest time, they go home to the Cuyo archipelago, bringing with them many sacks of palay, assured of rice and bayan from the sea. The Cuyonon have much time for rest and recreation. They spend their free time converging in the community plaza to play games like sipa and volleyball, to chat, to share life experiences, to compose songs, and even to engage in dramatic play. Men court ladies with serenades. Along the shores of Cuyo, wives and children wait for the male members of the family who bring home the fish caught from daily meals. The Cuyonon live a simple and sustainable life that relies on the bounty of nature. The simplicity is reflected in their favorite dish of boiled fish seasoned with salt and vinegar. So, dito, um, very familiar sa mga Cuyonon yung Sweden farm or yung pagtatanim ng palay sa hindi basakan or sa hindi basang lupa or sa hindi sa tubigan, like sa tuyong lupa talaga siya. So yung mga palay na nabubuhay sa umaasa lang sa ulan, hindi sila dinidiligan. So um, so dito sa Sweden farm, kaya mag-survive ng palay simula sa pagtatanim sa kanila hanggang sa magmunga at maani. And then, isa sa mga nakaugalian nila kapag hindi sila busy sa mga gawain, they are engaged, converging to the community plaza para maglaro ng sipa. So, sipa ito yung sipak takraw, volleyball, makipag-usap sa ibang kapwa ko yun nun, and then makikipa-share yung mga experiences sa buhay. Pwede din sila mag-compose ng mga songs. So, as of now, marami pa po ang mga Cuyonon songs na compose na mga composers. And then, to engage in dramatic play, doon na yung sa komedya. And then, sa panliligaw naman, in terms of panliligaw, nililigawan ng mga lalaki ang mga babae sa pangaharana or surname, kinakantahan nila ito. And then, yung iba naman, like, di ba sa fishing, syempre, male yung mangingisda, yung tatay. So, syempre, yung asawa, yung nanay, pupunta sila sa tabing dagat, kasama yung anak, para salubungin ng asawa or ang tatay, para makakuha ng isda or tulungan na buhatin yung isda pauwi ng bahay para magsilbing pang-ulam nila or pwede din nila itong ibenta. And then, isa sa mga very favorite dish na mga Cuyonon, yung boiled fish seasoned with salt and vinegar. Hindi ko alam kung ano ito. But isa sa mga clue ko dito is yung boiled fish tsaka yung salt and vinegar. Tingin ko ito yung paksiw. So yun, isa sa mga paborito na mga Cuyonon na ulam. Every time na may ulam silang isda galing sa or nakuha ng asawa nila. On the third day after a person's death, relatives gathered in the dead person's house to receive his or her spirit in a ceremony called pasaka or pauli. As usual, a priest interceded and offered food to the dead. Centuries of evangelization and Hispanization have made the Cuyonon a devoutly Christian group. Today, the fiesta of the Catholic liturgical calendar are celebrated, and most Cuyonon attended Sunday Mass regularly and fulfilled the obligations expected of Catholics. The biggest fiesta, celebrated in honor of the patron San Agustin on 28th of August, features the usual novena Mass and prayers as well as komedya and other performances. So, dito, kapag may namatayan, unang-una sa mga nakaugalian ng mga Cuyonon is yung bawal magwalis sa bahay ng namatayan. And then, ito, sinasabi dito na on the third day after person's death, relative gathered in the dead house to receive his or her spirit. So, ito, yung term na ito, tinatawag siya sa Cuyonon na katapusa pulaw. Um, it is uh, the time na uuwi ng bahay yung spirito ng namatay or yung spirit niya. And sometimes, nagpaparamdam din naman sila pag nasa bahay na sila. Paparamdam sila sa mga tao na nandoon sa bahay nila, sa bahay ng namatay. Um, Isa ito sa commonly na ginagawa is yung katapusang pula or yung pasaka or pauli. Every time na may namamatay, it is on the third day after niya mamatay. And then, yung pinaka-fiesta talaga sa Kuyo, ito yung pag-celebrate ng town fiesta or the village fiesta during August 28. Dito na papasok yung mga nabanggit ko na yung morning mass, yung cockfights, tsaka yung games hanggang ngayon. But before, 10 days before the fiesta, nagkakaroon ng novena mass. And then, ito yung komedya, yung pini-prepare nila para i-showcase yung komedya during the fiesta sa gabi. And then, may mga sayawan din. And then, isa sa mga piniperform during fiesta after lunch is yung ati-atihan, which or the Purongitan Festival, kung saan lalagyan ng dumi yung mukha or yung katawan, which are sa Purongitan, pungit, which means dumi, paglalagay ng dumi sa mukha or sa katawan. Is mga naging nakaugalian or mga practices na ng mga Cuyonon every time na fiesta or town fiesta. In the early years of Spanish colonization, the Visayan Islands and their inhabitants were officially called the province of Pintados, meaning painted, because of the tattoos that the people wore on their bodies. The inhabitants of Cuyo and the Colombianes, including Palawan Island, were described as pintados as well. Men and women alike wore their hair long. The women putting it in a band atop their head, the men either doing the same or wearing it in a queue. So dito, hindi na common talaga ngayon yung tattoo, like yung tattoo ng mga tao na buong katawan may tattoo. Unlike noon, may mga tattoo talaga yung mga katawan ng mga ninuno namin sa Cuyonon, mga ninuno ng mga Cuyonon. May mga tattoo talaga sila. Pero ngayon, may maganda naman tayong mga tattoo, but yung mga tattoo ngayon, sometimes trip lang nila magpatato, walang meaning yung tattoo nila. Unlike noon, yung mga tattoo nila, bawat tattoo nila, bawat sequence or design ng tattoo nila, meron kahulugan sa buhay nila. Or even, may mahalaga yun sa kanila yung ganong disenyo. Pero ngayon, parang wala na din masyado nagpapatato. Papatato lang talaga, trip lang nila magpatato, ganun. So, and then, noon yung buhok nila is mahaba. So, kahit mahaba yung mga buhok nila noon, malinis tignan dahil nakapusod. Ganon din sa mga lalaki nakapusod or sometimes tinitirintas. So, talagang malinis tignan sa paningin yung kanilang mga buhok. For clothing, the men wear the bahag or loincloth, which they wore in a layered style around the waist and crotch. Over this, they might put on a patajong or barrel skirt, the back hem of which could be pulled up to the front and tucked in the waist so that it reached down the mid-calf. Over the torso, they wear a tight sleeve vest that open in front. The women wear loose ankle-length robes like usually with colors woven into a borders, but only white for mourning. The materials used were metrinac or abaka, Iloilo cotton, or silk in various colors depending on the individual social status. The men tied a brightly colored scarf with gold borders around their head as a sign of their warrior status. They wore large earrings and bracelets of gold or ivory, whereas the women wore numerous strands of finely wrought gold around their necks and wrists and a pair of earrings. So dito sa pananamit nila, bahag at saka patadyong. So ngayon wala na akong nakikita masyado na nagsuot ng bahag, maliban na lang pag sa mga ethnic dances. So saka lang nakakakita ng gano'n na yung bahag, kung ano yung mukha ng bahag. Pero yung patadyong is very common pa sa akin. Until now, ginagamit pa din siya sa mga sayaw, like during fiesta. Kasi during fiesta, meron na competition na sayaw, yung sambali. So, yung sambali, some dancers use patadyong as their costume. So, doon may patadyong, ako nakikita, gamit nila yung patadyong. So, yung patadyong, tinatak lang nila sa harap. Sa harap lang yun, nakaipit lang yung end ng patadyong. And then, in wearing some cloth, there's depending in the color. And then, there's some specific colors, especially in mourning family. They were with the cloth with a white border or even a white color, pure white color of cloth. And then for the men's, they were cloth with a border of gold as a sign of their warrior status, which men, their role is to fight if there's some people they want to attack them. And then they were wear large earrings. And then in women's, they wear numerous golds on their necks and wrists, and also a pair of earrings. So it shows that their arts on but in their arts, they are using some specific colors and some specific colors and jewelries. So now, the indigenous Cuyonon music, literary, and performing arts. Indigenous Cuyonon music still survives in instruments such as the batongtong or the bamboo slit drum, palakupakan or the stick with bamboo clappers, subing, the mouth harp or bamboo jaw harp, and the lantoy or the nose flute. So, the Tipano band, fife and drum ensemble, and the cuerdas string band supply background music on important social occasions. They also accompany singers and run their dance music like Tapinondo-Pundo. The Tipano is reserved for the ati-ati, sinulog, and komedya. So here, meron mga banda na sa Cuyo ngayon na they're still performing just to preserve kung ano yung mga instruments, kung paano gamitin ang mga instruments. And then, especially the Tipano band, the fife and drum ensemble, and the cuerda string band, they are still alive or still performing pa din ngayon. They're still recording some musics. And then the tipano. Tipano is very common bamboo, very common instrument made of bamboo, which is used in recording or in ati-atihan performance in sinulugan komedya, serves as the background music in the performance. So there's the traditional house of the Cuyonon people. The traditional settlements of the region are built along the coast. The bahay kubo or nipa hut or nipa and bamboo will typically raised above the ground with the living quarters on the second floor. A three-stone heart on the one side marks of the batalan or the kitchen. The traditional cooking pot for rice is a segment of a bamboo tube which preserves the freshness of rice better than a clay pot. A silong, a space underneath the bahay kubo, is a storage or an enclosure for domesticated animals like pigs and chickens, and the kamalig or granary stands there either as an annex or an independent structure for additional storage in the backyard. Presently, the newer and larger houses are contemporary materials. Houses use contemporary materials, mainly concrete, wood, and galvanized iron, which are sometimes combined with lighter native materials. So, noon, yung bahay lang talaga ng mga Cuyonon are made of, which is a bahay kubo, nipa hut. So, sa bahay nila, meron nakaangat ito sa lupa. So, yung ilalim serves as doon nakatira or doon nila nilalagay yung mga alagang baboy nila, alagang manok. And then, yung kitchen is nasa tabi lang din ng pinakabahay. Like, nasa taas. Like, mataas siya na nakaangat sa lupa, which is malapad din siya. Pero, hiwalay yung kitchen sa mismong bahay. And then, sa lutuan, sa kitchen, yung ginagamit nilang saingan is hindi kaldero, hindi din rice cooker kasi wala pa ding rice cooker noon. Meron clay pot or I think palayok ito. But they prefer to use the bamboo, which bamboo tube, kung saan dito mas na-preserve yung freshness ng kanin kahit na malamig na para malambot pa din yung kanin. Ito yung bamboo tube yung ginagamit ng mga Boy Scouts sa pagsaing. And then yung silong, yung mga baka doon nilalagay yung alaga nilang baboy or mga manok. And then yung kamalig is hiwalay din sa mismong bahay, hiwalay din sa mismong kitchen nila or batalan. Dito nilalagay yung kanilang mga ani or stocks, aning palay, mga gulay. Doon nila nilalagay ay serves as their storage area or storage room. And then ngayon, compared sa mga bahay noon sa ngayon, malaking pagbabago na. Bihira na lang makakita ng bahay kubo talaga. Most common is concrete houses made of concrete materials. May halo lang na konting native materials or lighter native materials. But ngayon merong I think buhay pa din ngayon na nakatayo pa din yung bahay noon pero wala na nakatira ngayon. Bahay noon na makikita na meron siyang batalan, meron siyang silong at kamalig. So yun yung na sa Puyo, like yung mga traditional house nila before kaysa sa ngayon na malaki na yung pagbabago ng mga bahay nila or may mga bahay simula noon hanggang sa ngayon.
Mayad nga adlaw kanindong tanan. Indong kabes nga sultiros, dadarang kamo pabalik sa mga manggad nga kulturang Cuyonon nga nakapreserba sa lika. Ako, si Arnel Baguana Jr., indong makakatambirang sa pagpamalikid sa teng kulturang Cuyonon nga padayon tanging tatalingan sa malabagdeng tiyempo. Tabi-tabi, malubas ako nay. Pabisa ko. Isarang kinaugalyang Cuyonon nga impasubuli at ang mga gurang-gurang sa teng mga kabatan. Kung ako nga sasalip na nga ng adlaw, ay pang imatuna teng mga bata sa pagbisa.
Ay, kamada pa kon.
Isa ra dyang pagpakita kagalangan sa teng mga kagurang-gurangan, ig sa mga malam nga stadadi ay napreserba ta sa malabagdeng panimpo.
Kalau yang katingin ng Diyos, kalau yang katingin ng Diyos.
Amos, tabay na nendo ako, masaragib kita. Andin na ng biyas. Ang biyas sumaw nga gasirbing sa ragaban at ang mga gurang-gurang nga mga Cuyonon na tungo ng tiyempo. Naisipan dang biyas nga dya nga mamang buwateng sa ragaban, tenged madalita ng buwaten, igmaga ni pasanin. Iga gasirbi pang baston kung madanligan dalan, ig kung sandayang pipilayan. Isarang kaputol nga kawayan ngayong lubutan sa tenga, iging salan lang isa ka buko, agud maman ang magasirbing pansagang sa tubig. Iga ng labag ay kasarangan lang nga madadag at ang mga sultiros ig mga daraga nga mga manigsagab. Tapayan. Tapayan ang agasirbing tirimusan ang tubig nga sinagab para sa pangadlaw-adlaw nga kaministiran sa pamalibalay. Igi siraradyang tirimusan iyang ipon iyang mga Cuyonon. Ungot. Isarang daw ang niyog nga ing tinga, iging kabitan ang singi-singi iyang kawayan. Nga umaw nga gasirbing panarok sa bubon, ig panarok sa tapayan. Igang ungot nga diya ay mamandang nga gasirbing baso. Iri naman kapi, igagasirbing mangkok nga beretangan sira, ig marakupang ibang pwedeng gamitan iyang ungot nga diya. Amos, mapakinas, mapanulo kita. Ipapakilala ko kanindo ang sinaunang gamit ang mga Cuyonon nga nagasirbing sulo kung sanda nagapanulo. Datong arapa Petromax pati mga dibaterya.
Bastante rin sa pangsira. Pabalik kita lang aroman kaloy Diyos. Tara.
Una, ang kinarakid nga daw ang niyog. Madali lang dyan buhatin tenged rakitar ka ministirang magparayo pa, tenged sa marapit lang atong uto ay may makikita kita ring daw ang niyog para buhating sulo. Pangarwa, ang sinalsag nga kawayan. Magbul kita iyag ang kawayan, igtadtadin tayo may rintek, agud madali ta na nga magdake. Napakadaling pagburuatin. Aragarastusan, igipiktibong gamit ang mga Cuyonon kung nagapanulo. Kung may resibing grasya sa silidi sa kadagon, ang mga Cuyonon ay nalilipat magpasalamat sa Tangginong Diyos. Ani man nagakatinir kita may tungpon siya, nga kung sa din, ang upas yang saging mamayng gagamit, igagasirbing platon. Tenged na kaugalyan datang mga kalulululuan, nga ang upas yang saging mamayng gagamit. Tenged madali lajay belen, kakakaminus kita pa sa oras. Tenged darar kaministiran nga magpangugas pa ang upas yang saging, katapos si gamitin nga agsirbing platon. Isarang maget nga kulturang Cuyonon nga hindi malipatan iyang mga Cuyonon ay ang randak. Kung sa din pagkatapos atang santos nga misa, at ang mga musikero ay nagatirim sa luang simban para magtugtog ang pasadubli, pati magsaut iyang komedya. Para pambeng maentra sa galulwa ang mga agsirimba. Basi pang napresyarin dura kang presentasyon nga dya sa pagpamalikid sa teng kulturang Cuyonon. Ig sa teng mga bugtitinay nga dadi ay maray rin sa teng banwa, kabay pa napadimdem ko ang mga surubliyong kultura. Ig basi pa nga kabalik mo sa lugar ng indoy nga linan, pagi sa kang presentasyon nga dya. Matamang salamat.